Fed up of floor robes, driven to distraction and drowning with doom boxes? Tired of living in chaos? Welcome to Decluttering Untangled, how to declutter when you're overwhelmed, ADHD or autistic. I'm going to help you uncover the secrets to decluttering, no matter what hurdles you face. You'll discover how to declutter, de-stress and transform your world. I'm Heather Tingle, reformed hoarder, neurodivergent declutter queen, and your guide through the maze of mess. Let's get untangled. Hello, Untanglers, and welcome to another episode of Decluttering Untangled with me, your host, Heather Tingle. Now, before I start, I would like to say hello to Kimberly, who is an untangler in Pennsylvania, who messaged me. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for saying it was okay to use your name. I'm also really glad that this podcast motivates you to get untangled. So let me know if you manage to train your puppy to help you declutter, because if you do, you're going to be a millionaire because you can train others how to get their dogs to do it. And if you can train cats, even better, let me know. Now, today's podcast has come about because I've had two untanglers in the past week struggle with something, and I am absolutely certain that quite a few of you are going to struggle with this too. So it might be a concept that you are aware of and you want to give it a go. So what I've seen this week is I want to let go of 50% of my stuff, or, for example, I want to remove 30% of my stuff. Now, when I decluttered, I think I removed probably 2/3 of the contents of my house. And that is definitely how much needed to go. But when I first started decluttering, I got no idea how much I needed to let go of. But even if you are in that really good position of knowing how much you need to let go, you might think that's a really good starting point. But I'm going to tell you today why it can be really dangerous to start off with a percentage or a volume in mind. And not least because it involves maths, because my brain doesn't do maths. But it can be really, really problematic for many reasons, which I'm going to talk to you today. Okay, so to start with, what it does is it changes how you tackle decluttering. So you start off maybe motivated, maybe not, but at least feeling like you're taking a positive step forward. The instant you put a target of like a percentage figure on it, it starts to become a target to hit, which then puts pressure on you and it makes you feel like some kind of test that you've got to win rather than a naturally cathartic process to look forward to in whatever shape or form it happens. So that can be one of the first things is it's hard enough to declutter, but if you're going into a room or a space or a cupboard or a drawer thinking I've got to get rid of 50% of this or 20% of this, that's already an overwhelming step and it's making it more difficult for you to even start. So remove that expectation to start off with because it's going to make it harder for you to even get in the room to do it. Now, the second thing it does is it changes your mindset from looking of what to adore and what to keep and then getting rid of the rest to what to let go of. Now, I know that can sound like a really subtle difference, but when you're decluttering, it's so important to concentrate on what you're keeping rather than searching for what to let go of. Now, if you look for things to let go of, what you do is you're risking making rushed decisions just to hit a number and a target. And it also sometimes not letting go of enough because actually you're doing it from a negative rather than a positive perspective. And decluttering is difficult enough. It's quite an emotional process. You don't want to make it harder. And it's really hard to work by percentage as there's going to be some categories where you're going to let go of 90% of the stuff. And there's going to be other categories where you let go of 5%. But overall, it will probably work out if you follow emotion first and space for it second. By working on a percentage or number of items to let go of, it means that you might keep more than you would. So, for example, you let go of some items, maybe 40%, and the next block of items you let go of, but aren't really sure about when you first look at it, would take you to over 60% or even 70 or 80%. Now, if you're going by percentages, that might feel like, oh, I'd be getting rid of too much that way. Actually, I've done enough at 40, so I'll stop. So you're more likely to keep more. But if you looked at the space and the emotions, you might think, do you know what? I'm keeping this 30% I really, really love. And the rest of it, that between the 30 and 70%, actually that I don't love that as much as what I thought I did, so I can probably let that go as well. In the end, you realise that only the favourites matter, so you're letting more go. Or it may be that you hit your 50% really easily, so you stop, because why would you carry on if you needed to hit 50%? You've hit 50%, when actually more might be able to go from that category, but later on you struggle with a category and it's really difficult to let go of that 50%. It's really hard to hit a percentage when you have when you adore like one category of items. So it would be really difficult for me to get rid of shoes. I love my shoes, but it might be really, really easy for me to let go of, I don't know, socks or t-shirts. If there is only a few items in that category, it makes it so much harder. So, for example, you've got 4 pairs of scissors. Saying you need to get rid of 50% of them forces a really awkward decision. Maybe you actually use or want 3. That is okay. You're not hitting your 50% target. In fact, you're nowhere near, really, but it's only the difference of 1, and that is okay. But when you zoom out, maybe looking at what else is in that drawer, you might naturally let go of more than, I don't know, without any conflict of decluttering by numbers, you might be able to get rid of, let me think, what would be in that drawer. You might struggle to get rid of 2 of the 4 scissors, but you might turn that around and easily release 150 out of your 200 pens. And you will still have the same amount of stuff in the drawer. You still hit your target, but you've not done it by a percentage of stuff. Does that make sense? I think really the main thing to remember is it's important to remember why you're decluttering. The goal isn't to let go of a set amount. The goal is for what you've got, you love, for life to be easier and for your home to work with you. It's also a much more emotional process than logical, and letting go of one item might just bring you that massive wave of relief and lightness as it's been weighing you down or troubling you. And that would not show on pure numbers. Now, numbers can be really useful motivators, but for me, they're only useful when the decision has been made already. So, for example, knowing you've let go of 10 bags of stuff and you've got it out the house, brilliant. And that's why there's a master bag tracker in my Declutter Your Home planner, as it can be really helpful to have a numerical visual. But it's not the way to make the decisions in the first place over what deserves a place in your home and what goes. The main thing to remember is just keep decluttering each category thoroughly so that you're certain you're at the right amount for that category. You will naturally let go of more in some categories than others, but it will balance out and work for you and your home if you work by emotions first, space second. So don't worry about the numbers. Until next time, be kind to yourself. Remember, you are not alone, and keep untangling. Thanks for joining me for today's episode of Decluttering Untangled. If you found anything that I've said today helpful, please do me a favour. Hit that subscribe button or leave me a review. It's like receiving a virtual high five that keeps me going and lets me know that I'm helping real people out there and I'm making a difference. Please remember, you're not alone in this. I'm building a community of fellow untanglers over on Facebook. Just visit the show notes for the link to my free decluttering community. So until next time, remember, you're not alone, you're not lazy, you can untangle your life.